Why was President Jacob Zuma and two top 6 officials heckled at yesterday's May Day event? Is Cosatu and the SACP, are they instructing the ANC on how to run its own affairs? What kind of message did President Zuma plan to deliver to the workers? And does the ANC really have a good story to tell about the country's 23 years of freedom? What time is it? It's question time. Khodzong, and welcome to the show. My name is Mkhize. Several observers are asking if the ANC can focus on improving the lives of ordinary citizens while having to put down the flames caused by apparent wrangling over who should succeed President Jacob Zuma when his term expires. The movement has blamed Alliance leaders' early pronouncement on leadership preferences for the chaos that occurred in the Free State yesterday. For the first time during his tenure, President Zuma was prevented from addressing the May Day rally in Bloemfontein. The workers also refused to be addressed by senior ANC leaders Baleka Mbete in KwaZulu-Natal and Jessie Duarte in Limpopo. Ironically though, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, Secretary General Gwede Mantashe and Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize addressed workers without any disturbances. SACP General Secretary Nzimande has described the collapse of the Bloemfontein Rally as the final wake-up call for the alliance. But does the ANC have a clear policy on presidential succession? We are live, and therefore you can call us. The numbers to dial 089-1104-210. Our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. My guest today is a spokesperson of the African National Congress and a member of the National Executive Committee, Zizi Kodwa. But before we get into the discussion, let's hear what the ANC and SACP had to say at the May Day rally.
We anticipated that there was likely to be something of the sort that we saw, so it didn't come as a surprise. But as leaders, it can be something that deters us from continuing to do what is correct.
We have not decided as the ANC collective that our president must stand down. And I think that's the divergence between us and the leadership of Cosatu. It is a pity that the workers of Cosatu are now being used to divide us.
Coincidentally, our message as the SACP today was going to say that we are facing very serious challenges as a country, and we are facing serious challenges as a movement. And was going to call upon workers to take responsibility to contribute towards correcting the situation. We do not only want to get the workers' voice, we also want workers' action to actually tackle the core challenges that are facing our movement, our alliance, but most importantly, our country. I never thought it was going to go to this level. I thought that we could actually still rescue. I hope for all of us as leaders, really, this must be the ultimate wake-up call.
Well, that was the leadership of the ANC and the SACP, and given what Nzimande says there, I really would like to have a conversation with him here on Question Time. Zizi Kodwa, welcome to the show. We really appreciate you making time.
Thank you.
Indeed, this is unprecedented. The divisions are showing.
There were about 15 rallies organized yesterday to celebrate the sacrifices and achievement of workers under the umbrella of the Progressive Federation, Cosatu. And generally, all those rallies went peacefully and were incident-free. And I'm talking about the rallies in the main who were addressed by alliance leadership, including the leadership of the ANC. You find them many in the country, which unfortunately, because of many other things, they were not covered. I think there were 1 or 2 incidences which, of course, worried us. as the ANC, but also worried as the alliance and the leader of the alliance. One of them is a main rally in in Bloemfontein, where unfortunately that none of the speakers were able to speak, given the issues that happened at the rally. The one was in Durban, which I must correct you, that the chairperson was able, our national chairperson was able to deliver her address, was able to finish it, although there was an attempt to disrupt it through booing and heckling. The deputy secretary couldn't able to address the rally. But what it does show that, unfortunate, is that such a significant and important day was reduced to what you call a personality cult, politics of political and leadership preferences. And actually it undermined and overshadowed the historical significance of the day, because that day belongs to workers. Correct. It does not belong to anybody. It's not about who leads the ANC, who leads the alliance at any particular time in history. It was unfortunate that it got overshadowed by those events, which I think it was unfortunate, and I think such a conduct must be condemned, because I think it does undermine the efforts we are making to foster unity broadly in the alliance, but more importantly, the contradictions in the intra-alliance themselves, it has sharpened those contradictions.
But what does this say to the ANC? What lessons are you taking out of this? What do you see this to mean?
What it means is that there is no alternative to unity. Whatever views we hold about preference of leadership, it's important that, among others, we must make sure we never compromise on issues of unity. We must never create alternative platforms to deal with most difficult issues that are facing the Revolutionary Alliance led by the ANC. Whether we've got leadership preferences or not, but a rally can't be a solution because it can't resolve those issues. There's got to be a ways in which the alliance respectfully we engage one another. What it also shows is that members at the different levels are beginning to appreciate and see somewhat may be regarded as divisions within the senior structure of the African National Congress. The fact that you make in your introduction that 3 of the national top officials, there was an attempt and there was even a decision to cancel a speech by the president. The 3 of them were not booed. It does speak to observation that members are beginning to see, and we've got to be worried as leadership of the ANC. Whether is it possible that we could able to provide leadership so that at the end of the day, we must make sure that we restore confidence and inspire hope to the members of the organization. When we talk about deepening unity in the organization, in the first instance, they must see in the upper structures of the organization.
Wise men, you are in PE.
Good afternoon, Mpo, and good afternoon to Zizi. You know, Mpo, I also can't wait for you to bring Nzimande. I'm very interested in that you meet us now.
Yes.
Zizi, you know, if what happened on yesterday, what is saying Great Demand is it was a wake-up call for your ally, for your ANC and the alliance. I think you guys you are permanently blind, because the people told you that they don't want Zuma, and even during a local election that you lost many metros. And it was not a wake-up call. And let me tell you this, Zizi. If you don't recall Jacob Zuma, you're giving a guarantee that the ANC won't be in power in 2019. I promise you.
Okay,
if Jacob Zuma is not recalled, that is a guarantee that ANC won't be in power in 2019.
Thank you very much, wise man. We got the guarantee. Now, Ziz, can and will the ANC recall President Zuma?
Just to respond to Wiseman, because it's important, a lot of the chorus and cacophony of noises have been made in terms of what happened in Bloemfontein. The members of Cosatu are members of the ANC, members of the ANC are members of Cosatu, and vice versa, including the Communist Party. That's why it was important that the call we make, not just in making broadly a call to the general public in South Africa, to specifically members of the organization who would appreciate that at whatever difficulties we face, we must hold high moral discipline in terms of how we deal with those issues, precisely what we are talking to. And I think that those will continue to hope that given the challenges that the ANC throughout history has always faced, they will face and write the obituary of the African National Congress. People never thought in 2014 would win elections, and I think the coming together of the opposition actually hoped that the ANC will not win in 2014, in 2009, even before that in 2004. There was always this chorus and cacophony that the ANC will never win. the challenges of the African National Congress, we're going through a storm. Out of this is a learning curve for the African National Congress. We'll emerge stronger as the African National Congress, as we would have heard statements from the Alliance leadership, the General Secretary of Cosatu, the President the General Secretary of Communist Party, and the President of Cosatu, to say, we must go back and say, all of us, at this moment, embarrass all of us. And there was no winner of what happened yesterday. There were no victors. And therefore, all of us in the alliance must take responsibility and go back and say, how best do we strengthen and build alliance? A united African National Congress, an alliance led by the ANC. But of course, there are certain things that we must do right, basics. That of which, among others, we must restore discipline in the organization. We have seen this over a period of time. What happened yesterday was a cumulative effect of many other wrong things. The booing of Zweli Mkhize in KZN during the memorial service of Uncle Kathy, the booing of Pravin Gordhan, and the similar other incidents that happened where leadership made premature pronouncements about their preference of leadership. That the incident was a direct consequence of what would have advised the ANC against happening some of those announcements which were made.
So, can and will or would the ANC recall President Zuma?
There are no basis why the ANC at the moment must recall President Zuma as an organization. Even the decision of Cosatu does not suggest that you must call President Zuma as a president of the ANC. The decision relates to the president of the republic. It is that decision that, of course, it has caused a lot of rupture even within the federation because it is misinterpreted, hence some of the incidents you saw yesterday. Hence, against our advice that these premature decisions that are made, they do undermine the efforts to foster unity if they are not handled very well. By the way, the leadership of the ANC is a reserve of the branches of the African National Congress. The alliance partners, through their membership of the African National Congress, they do participate. If there are issues about unhappiness, there are better platforms. For example, soon we'll meet in a political council. These are platforms that are created for intra-alliance engagement to discuss issues that are more common to the existence of the alliance.
Peter, you are in Springs. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Peter. Comrade Zizi, I think, we must review this alliance because, it's a fact that not all workers are members of the ANC or supporters of the ANC. People in Cosatu, you join Cosatu by virtue of being a worker, and you could be DA, you could be EFF, but you would be a member of Cosatu. So for all we know, those who were booing were deployed by their organizations, maybe the EFF or whoever, to just to destabilize the ANC. And they are like what do you call leopard dressed in sheepskin. They call themselves Cosatu and alliances of the ANC, and people must assume that they are supporters of the ANC, whereas maybe they are members of the opposition.
Peter, thank you very much for that call. Could there be infiltration?
No. We don't want to be guided by conspiracies. Our view is that it's not so much about emphasis of what happened yesterday. It's to say, learning from what happened yesterday, what then must happen, what next? We cannot allow alliance to break. Because that alliance for us is important. That's why, as the ANC, we commit ourselves that we will double our efforts to foster unity under the most difficult and provocative conditions. But again, we will require leadership, at least to guide us, to make sure that the alliance does not break. It will never break. We will not allow any divorce from any alliance partner because we think alliance is bigger than individuals. We must exist, and this alliance must continue to thrive beyond just individuals.
We're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. The numbers to dial 089-1104-210, or you can send us your tweet at questiontime24, and we'll be able to read your tweets thereof. Please don't go away.
This distinguished CEO would say the best way to enjoy a brandy is whilst wearing diamond-encrusted lamb's wool socks, accompanied by
the smell of fresh money.
Woo! Really? Sock diamonds? Well, we'd say a brandy enjoyed with last night's pizza works just as well. Tops at Spa. Good brandy, good advice, no blingy socks.
Welcome back. You are still watching Question Time, rather. My guest today is Zizi Kodwa, is the spokesperson of the ANC. And Pagamani, you're on the line. Welcome.
Hello, Mpo. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
Hello, Zizi.
Amanda.
How are you? Zizi, I know you are there in studio to do your work as a spokesperson of ANC. But seriously, this thing is tempering your I don't know if I can call capability. Because now you are really trying to defend what is not defendable. I'm asking you a simple question. According to you, what Jacob Zuma did is right or wrong? It's what I want to know. Because we all know...
Pagamani, I'm going to ask for specifics here so that we are able to zoom into a specific issue. What did Jacob Zuma do? What you are referring to?
He reshuffled his cabinet without consulting people, the leadership of ANC. That I would have to ask if it's right, according to his opinion. Number two, we all know, Paul, that when the ANC recalled Jacob Zuma, the IFP is going to emerge at KZN. We all know that. Now they are trying to hold Zuma, even if he is wrong, to make sure that he finishes his term. They don't care about the people of this country.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Pax.
No, what I think is important to have these kind of conversations is when people begin to develop their own narratives, which are baseless. For an example, there is nothing wrong that suggests that the president cannot reshuffle a cabinet. It's the same question that can be asked, why did he appoint the cabinet? Because it is by constitution that after election, the president must put together a national executive. Nobody is asking, why did he put a national executive, which is the cabinet? And therefore, equally, the president, by constitution of the republic, has got a right to reshuffle his cabinet. That issue is neither here nor there at the moment. That issue was dealt with among the alliance partners. We also dealt with by the national leadership of the ANC. We went back to structures. Even in the past 2 weeks, we've been talking to our structures to explain the decisions of the extended National Working Committee, which met subsequent the reshuffling. So that issue is sorted from the ANC point of view. What we are dealing with is a fallout of what happened yesterday. And how do we make sure that we restore confidence of our people and inspire hope and build unity of the alliance?
David Usemtata, welcome.
Mhlekazi wami.
Tata.
Mhlekazi wami, Mhlekazi Kodwa, qhubekani ke ANC nima arrogant. Umzuzwana nje busanda usho into bana niyaye ebantwini niyova abantu babathini. Unyanisile lo tata uqhuba uphuma apha into bana uzithoba isidima wena ubuqu ngento bana uqhubeke kumane uthatha abantu bebadala abanye besithini. Qhubekani ke niyenze into eniyenzayo apha ebantwini. Izolo benibona abantu bangaxabana babethane. Akho kwanto niyenzayo into nayo niyavuka kusasa niyaphinda niyasiqhatha. Arrogant ayizomsandawo. Inkosi.
Ngozi kakhulu David Usemtata there saying, look, well, arrogance, it's not going to take you too far away, accusing Zizi and the ANC of being arrogant and, you know.
There's nothing wrong if he disagrees. There's nothing wrong if he disagrees with my opinion and the views of the ANC.
Yeah.
We've always explained our views with humility. And the way we explain it to it, if he does not agree, does not suggest we are arrogant. We are not arrogant as a leadership of the ANC. That's why, among others, we say it does not help us to blame anybody about what happened yesterday for the sake of the African National Congress and that of the Alliance. Let's pick up and say, what then do we do to make sure that we build a strong, we deepen unity within the Alliance?
You sit in the NEC. Has President Zuma ever hinted that he would resign or withdraw his services as deployed by the ANC, whether it be in government or even within ANC structures? I know he has said a couple of things around that. when he was addressing, rallies and stuff. But has he ever said anything of the sort within the NEC?
No, what is important when we have a democratic organization such as the African National Congress, it's not so much who said what in the meeting. That's why whenever we communicate decisions. By the way, you will be aware the president has said it's on public record that he did not want to continue with the second term. He wanted to just to finish the first term. And it was out of persuasion, among others, by many comrades, including comrades within the alliance, that given the work that he started in 2009, they would like him to continue with the program that he started. And it's important that you remember that as well.
Sure.
Because every time he takes a platform, he always reminds even comrades who are fierce critics of the president and the leadership of the ANC, it is among others who persuaded the president after the first term that they would like to see the president continuing.
Dagi, yes. You're in the Val. You've been gone for long.
I need to speak to our spin doctor there. He needs a degree. This guy, they must give him some sort of professorship for spinning a story. He knows how to do that. In one breath, the ANC says they are collective.
Yes.
In the other breath, they say, no, it's the president's prerogative. So what is it now? Is it a collective body or is it a prerogative of the president to do as he pleases?
Okay.
Then the other thing is, it's good to listen to this, but it doesn't make sense. Because when you're talking about workers, like that other guy that called you earlier on, he said to you, not everybody in the Cosatu is an ANC member or belongs to the ANC. It's different political parties that belong to Cosatu. It's not just the ANC. So that is bunkum that. But anyway, let's leave it there. I just think you need to give this guy a professorship in spinning a story. He's a very good spin doctor. Oh, Zizi.
Okay, Dagi, thank you very much for the call.
No, thanks very much for the compliment, Dagi. I think at some point the African National Congress would recognize me with honorary doctorate for explaining these difficult challenges. What is important is that for the African National Congress, is that when we explain the relationship between the state and the party, we must not blur the lines. And we make that distinction quite deliberately. When I spoke about the president, the prerogative of the president, I was talking about as spouses in terms of the constitution of the republic.
Okay.
As to what an extent the president courteously may want to consult the party as expected in terms of the resolution of Polokwane, that the president can do. That is an issue that was explained during the National Working Committee. To what an extent that consultation was done is a matter that was dealt with politically.
Now, Zizi, there are all sorts of stories emanating from yesterday's incidents. Now, there's one that says, so JZ's people are no longer going to allow Cyril Ramaphosa to speak.
The danger is exactly that where you are organizing a workers' May Day celebrations, you've got for and against, almost two groups in each rally. That's not supposed to be, because that day, among others, leave narrow factional interest in terms of preference of leadership. That day belongs to workers, whether those workers they've been organized or unorganized. And it's important to recognize that fact. And the fact that in the ANC must be defined suddenly on the basis of for and against, that is not the ANC we know. That's why we must continue to fight factionalism. Because it is these groupings, factions, that may continue to define the ANC according which dominant faction in the ANC. There is no way in the ANC where leaders of the ANC will have no-go areas. President Zuma shall address leaders of the ANC, members of the ANC, including where possible. President Zuma shall continue to address all affiliates of Cosatu whenever he is invited, because soon the president of the ANC, we can't resolve the issues of succession of the ANC in rallies, for example.
But was it not a risk really for the ANC to say, and I mean, it was you who said, look, we have deployed the president to Bloemfontein. whether Cosatu wants him or not, but this is our deployee. Was it not risky? Were you not setting him up, or should I use the common language, were you not throwing him under the bus?
The national officials met a week before the May Day celebrations, and they took a decision acknowledging that there's a possibility, like the national chairperson was saying, there's a possibility that there could be some hurdling of whatever sort. They took a decision politically that they will still carry their heaviest responsibility to go to these meetings, to deliver a message on behalf of the African National Congress to the workers of South Africa. And they went there, and I think it was correct for the ANC, even correct for the president. Let's deal with consequences. Had the president not show up in that rally, it would have been worse politically from the point of view of the ANC. It was correct that leaders of the ANC went. Let's deal with those consequences. Let's see how best do we unify our members of the ANC, including helping to deal with issues of divisions within the Federation, Cosatu.
What was this message?
The message was similar to all leaders of the African National Congress in terms of our speakers' notes we sent out to deepen unity within the alliance, but also to make sure that we raise issues that affects workers, issues of living wage, issues about decent work. These are the issues, unfortunately, got overshadowed by incidents of yesterday. The president would have delivered on behalf of the African National Congress, like the rest of other leaders who spoke yesterday, the message of unity of the alliance in the first instance, but the message of unity of the African National Congress.
Well, I hope this is good enough.
It's good enough.
Okay. And that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, have yourself a wonderful time.